Have you been following this Tua Tagovailoa Brian Flores little squabble as of late?
I mean, would you call it a squabble?
Well, so if you guys don't know the backstory, Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback for the Dolphins, used to be coached by Brian Flores for 2 years in Miami, and we've heard rumors for years that the relationship was kind of, I won't say volatile. Let's just say that
it was strained. I mean, listen,
strained.
When you jump around and mess with a young quarterback's status of whether he's starting or not, that gets sticky.
Yeah, agreed. So obviously Brian Flores got fired by the Dolphins, even though having a winning record wasn't enough to keep his job there.
You mean Stephen Ross fired him so he wouldn't reveal all the scandal that was going on?
Correct, right. And of course,
say that out loud. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Hey, Brian Flores sued the NFL for discrimination. Know that.
Sorry.
Is this gonna be a new gimmick for the show now?
You can blame this. Listen, I can't give you credit because on Hilarity by Default with Demosthenes Euclid, we got a strike for something. Or no, we didn't want to get a strike when we did Rocky on required viewing.
Right.
So that was the first instance of the kazoo here in the Student of the Game studios.
So both parties have not really spoken public about the relationship. We've heard rumors and stuff through the years. However, Tua actually did sit down with Dan Le Batard this past week, and he actually revealed some of the his thoughts on his time at Brian Flores. Here's a clip from the show.
And I told you, you sucked at what you did, that you don't belong doing what you do, that you shouldn't be here, that this guy should be here, that you haven't earned this right. And then you have somebody else come in and tell you, dude, you are the best fit for this. Like, you are accurate, you are the best whatever, you are this, you are that. Like, how would it make you feel listening to one or the other? You see what I'm saying? And then you hear it, regardless of what it is, the good or the bad. And you hear it more and more. You start to actually believe that. I don't care who you are. You could be the president of the United States. You have a terrible person that's telling you things that you don't want to hear, or that you probably shouldn't be hearing. You're going to start to believe that about yourself. And so that's sort of like what ended up happening.
All right. So basically,
I have some.
Okay, go ahead.
So there's a couple things I want to get out of the way right away.
Okay, go ahead.
If to me, it feels like Tua is characteristically either uncalculated or he's gaffing all over the place here, right? It's hard for me, for example, to believe that Brian Flores looked him dead in the eye and said, "You suck." I don't think that happened. But again, what did I say earlier? When you're playing around with a guy's status as to when he's starting, when he's a young player, that's tantamount to maybe somebody thinking they're being told they suck. A, B, you aren't the first rookie, perhaps in the NFL, not perhaps, definitely, to have a veteran who is not as talented as you get more time than you. Now, I will get the unorthodox nature of the in, out, back and forth thing. The part that's getting left out of what, in my opinion, was the fine coaching and him doing it, meaning Flores, is that O-line was garbage in a special way. Okay. Like, this is why what I had written for the time at the Dolphins wire under our under our friend, Antoine Staley.
Wait, Antoine V. Staley for the record.
Well played. Yes. If I'm going to say Travis D. Hums for Big Cat Country's writer and my co-host of the Duval Dive, bing, I have to refer to the New York Daily News's Antoine V. Staley appropriately. You're correct.
Yeah.
Great job, by the way.
It's still a good friend of ours. I talk to him all the time. So
wonderful friend of ours. Listen,
absolutely.
He may or may not have let me use him as a reference on a resume recently. Anyway,
very, very cool, man.
He, being Flores, in my opinion, did the right thing by putting Fitzmagic in front of the onslaught of things when Tua was, suffering non-concussion injuries, right? Yeah. So I it's hard for me to go with that. So that's number one. Two, when Coach McDaniel, right? Because the S is for sucks for Josh McDaniels, right? When Mike McDaniel came in, that's a different offensive system. And maybe Tua was a better fit for that one. because the way that I remember the Dolphins playing offense that early in those early Tua years, right, was a lot more balance. They weren't meant to be an air raid style attack. They
Correct.
weren't dynamic that same way. They couldn't be. They didn't have the friggin' guys, right? So.
I mean, that's pre-Tyreek Hill at that point, too, also, if I'm mistaken.
Pre-who? Say again?
That's pre-Tyreek Hill.
It's absolutely pre.
Waddle was there, but it's just him.
No, actually, Waddle, I think, was a rookie alongside of Tyreek.
Okay, so he got 1 year Flores, I guess.
Right, exactly. But yeah, the Tyreek deal was not, right,
Yeah.
exactly. It's all pre-Tyreek. So he went from being in a bad situation to a better one. And Flores being stuck in a bad situation without any of the situation with Stephen Ross that still has gone unanswered and uninvestigated. Meanwhile, you're going to steal the comeback player of the year from a guy that came back from death. Step your game up, media. Where the hell's my Stephen Ross interview, Lebitard?
Speaking of media, the big quote on this one is that he said that Flores was a terrible person, which I don't think he just meant to say that. I just think he made an example of like when you watch. Yeah, I don't think he meant him being a terrible person. I think he said when he was an example of like when you're being told by someone and then some person keeps telling you this and that. I don't think he necessarily meant that, but that's,
you were being told terrible things by a person. I don't think he felt like I interpreted it that way. This is the internet looking for sound bites. I'm better than that.
Anyway, we do have. To be fair, we have Brian Flores' response because he did actually respond to at a presser. Here's his response here.
Just curious how that hit you.
Look, I'm human, so that hit me in a way that I wouldn't say it was positive for me, but at the same time, I've got to use that and say, hey, how can I grow from that? How can I be better? That's really where I'm at from that standpoint. Do I feel like that's me? No, but how can I grow from that situation and create a world where that's not the case that anyone says that about Brian Flores?
All right, your thoughts on his response?
Yeah, I mean, he said the right thing. I mean, there's nothing more than that. I think he thinks it's bull, right? I think he thinks it's bullshit. But by the same token, and this is the part where Flores is wiser, he's saying, okay, well, somebody thought that of me. Whether it's bullshit or not, how do I do better to remove that perception and portray my message coaching better? It's a great response.
Because he likes to get a job some point down the road. But between having a lawsuit against the NFL that's still currently pending, you also have this a perception now of a guy who's not someone that you would want to play under or hire to have on your team, on your roster. Then, I guess here's the thing I will say. He didn't deny what Tua said. He didn't deny it, first off. So there could some truth to what he said. But I think he was also the bigger person here saying, acknowledging, some things I may have, that's the way I took that with him.
I think you're reading a bit too much into that. I think it's less. The reason why he didn't deny it is because he didn't want this to become a back and forth that is portrayed through the media.
Correct. And he did the right thing.
And this response, I feel, kills the narrative. Like at that point, it ends here. Somebody will ask Tua about him saying he thinks he should grow more and do better, and Tua will be far more calculated in that response, I'm sure, and saying something like, I'm glad to hear that. I hope it's successful, or, something that Tua will make way more eloquent than I can on the spot, being hounded by, the clickbait media. Okay.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think this essentially kills that narrative. That's why he's not retorting saying, I never told him he sucked, people. And frankly, if he has to tell people that, you're idiots. Or let's say he did say it and he confirms it. Good Christ. Like that goes completely out of control,
Right.
So, I mean, him saying he didn't deny it. And I'm not saying you're doing it for this reason either. You are a clickbaiting motherfucker. Freaking Steph Curry's better than what was it? Curry's better than Kobe. Fuck out of here. Anyways,
calm down, okay? Calm down.
That's
the baby. Calm down. No debate. Okay.
Shut your ass, clickbait. I said it.